We are in Monemvasia. I think that's how you say it. It's in the southern tip of one of the fingers of the Peloponnese. Tara's doing some yoga behind me, inspired by this wonderful sunrise. And today we expect to enjoy this walled city. I'm not sure what kind of a walled city it is, but I'm not sure actually what Tara's doing behind me. What is that? What is it?
I'm opening my hips. This is the most unrelaxing yoga thing you've ever done to me.
she's opening her hips. That's very good. So off we go to explore some old stuff.
We're the newbies. I'm Tara and this is John. And not so long ago we were married in Antarctica, promising ourselves that we would always prioritise experience over wealth. So here we are. We sold our house, left the city and bought a van which we've converted into our travelling home. Last week we had our history heads firmly on our shoulders as we visited the centre of the earth in Delphi and then walked almost alone at the Acropolis in Athens. Surely a once-in-a-lifetime experience. As if it couldn't get any better, this week blows the lid off. We walk quietly through the streets of a little-known but mighty walled town, place our toes on the starting line of the very first athletics track in Ancient Olympia, and cool off in one of Greece's most beautiful waterfalls. This one was an absolute privilege to have experienced. If you're enjoying our videos, please do hit that subscribe button just below and give us a thumbs up. We would be so grateful.
We really would. So the plan is to go to that island there where we understand there to be a walled city.
There's a little bridge that connects it to the mainland. We'll wander over that. But first, porridge.
Porridge.
Yum,
and
yum.
Coffee. Yoga's over. Show's over, folks. Well,
You could have at least chosen a nicer pose.
We started our Peloponnese adventure here in Monemvasia, a walled city founded in 583 by people moving away from the mainland seeking escape from the Slavic and Avaric invasions of Greece. It seemed their escape worked and the town quickly became an important trading centre. The town's history is nothing short of fascinating, and as we walked along the ramparts and narrow streets you could feel the history ooze from the stone. It's one of those places where ancient history feels a lot closer than millennium.
tell me about what we're looking at, my darling.
So this is Monemvasia, which is a little town that's kind of clinging to the side of this island. It was arranged in typical Byzantine fashion. So at the top are the churches and the citadels, then the wealthy people would have lived on the higher layers, and then these bottom layers would have been the tradesmen.
Wow, look at that.
Incredible.
I would have definitely wanted to be the tradesperson.
Look at it.
Not only do you get to live next to the sea, but you don't have to walk all the way up there.
I think this is one of my favourite little towns I've ever been to. It's completely charming.
About these kinds of towns is there's always a climb to be made. Monemvasia is particularly steep, and with a near 6-month pregnant tummy and the midday sun beating down on us, this one was a bit of a challenge, but one that was very worth it.
Are you feeling a bit hot? Tired? Why is that?
There's no more space for lungs in my body.
We find ourselves walking up the side of steep mountains again. What's at the top, darling? You're the fountain of knowledge.
The upper town.
The upper town.
The upper town.
There we go. Smart.
That's the extent of my knowledge at this point.
Okay. I think at the top is a really good view. What I think is absolutely fantastic about all of this is that it's free, and I love free stuff.
Sometimes there are places that instill peace, and sometimes these places are in locations that bore. Undoubtedly special moments, and this chapel with its understated arches and paintings was worth every single step up that hot mountain path.
Well, my darling, that is a pretty spectacular way to wake up this morning, isn't it?
Isn't it? We were supposed to leave yesterday and we didn't, because this spot is so beautiful. I'm really glad we did stay. Aren't you?
Yeah, very, very pleased. Look at that sunrise. What's the plan today then, my darling?
So, breakfast, yoga, head to Ancient Olympia.
Just bought our tickets to get into the Olympic Stadium. It is the Olympic Stadium, the original Olympic Stadium, isn't it?
The very one. Yep.
I, for one, am particularly excited about this because it's really old,
Like lots of things in Greece.
like lots of things in Greece. But being a person that likes the Olympic Games, it's quite exciting to come to the actual place where the Olympic Games began, the whole ethos and idea of the Games began.
What's really cool is it used to be, when they first started it, just like it is now, there was a place and an event where warring nations would put aside their differences and just compete. It's really
Brilliant. Tara's been doing some reading. Interestingly, the Olympic Games were held here for 1,500 years, from 10 BC to 426. And the reason why they stopped having the Olympic Games here was because the pagan beliefs were being suppressed by more popular religion. Seems a shame, that.
just a shame. But it came back.
It did.
Also, very interestingly, only men who were freeborn and legitimately Greek were allowed to compete in the Olympic Games, and women weren't even allowed to watch. And this is the site where the lighting of the Olympic flame takes place and has done since 1936. So, a super cool bit of discovery. Behind us are 16 blocks, and on those blocks were 16 statues of Zeus. And they were made out of bronze, and they were paid for by the fines that were given to athletes who cheated. And they were lined the entrance into the stadium to remind athletes not to cheat, and their names would be inscribed on the bottom of the statues as they entered the thing, and they would be further shamed. The Olympic Stadium.
So we've just walked down a tunnel that the Olympiads, the ancient Olympiads, would have walked down. They'll have run into this stadium here and it would have been a big roar like the modern day Olympic Games. Oh, I'm feeling all athletic.
Oh God. The stadium could hold 45,000 spectators.
Wow, is that the starting line over there? Yeah, so this is the starting line where all the ancient athletes will to put their foot to start the race, just like in modern day Olympics. Last week when we were in Delphi, I mentioned that I was really struggling with the museums because pronouncing the names was quite difficult.
It's, yeah, and it is, when you're reading these signs, it's not that just the names are difficult, it's also trying to understand the context of the battles and the different people who've built sanctuaries here and had moments in history that were important here. I am the first to admit that my understanding of ancient Greek history is pretty lacking beyond knowing the words Zeus and Hercules. So I think we've got some research to do.
Yeah, it's true. And so when you read something like, I don't know, some dude that's made the triangular statue over there, you kind of read his name and then it says a little bit about the statue, but it's like, well, who was that dude that decided to make a plinth triangular instead of round? It's intriguing for sure.
We've got some learning to do, my love.
Let's go to Santorini and sit down with a beer and read all about it. Well, I think it's a good idea. This is where the officials would have stayed, and Tara and I were just talking about it.
What becomes very clear is that this is the original Olympic village. Exactly how they do it. They have everything they needed here. Houses for the officials, place for the athletes, training grounds, swimming pools.
Isn't that cool?
Very cool.
The modern day idea of the Olympics is not at all new. It's almost an exact carbon copy from the ancient Olympics.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Reluctantly, we dragged ourselves away from the Olympics. The road ahead was about to get very exciting. The goal? Somewhere to cool down.
Morning, fellas. We are on our way to the Neda waterfalls. This is the road.
Good one.
It's been quite an incredible drive this morning. Beautiful, look at that, you can see the sea.
Well, we just drove down some properly gnarly roads there to get to these Neda waterfalls. Got a bit of a double whammy going on at the moment because we have no gas in the gas tank, which is a bit of a silly thing. I thought I'd come across a gas station somewhere along the ways to fill up, but no, so we're on empty and we're in the middle of nowhere. It is quite pretty though. Oh, and the Neda waterfalls. Are you going swimming in the Neda waterfalls, darling?
At 4 degrees, I might just look at them.
4 degrees? Yeah. What does it say?
Visitors must have items for an emergency. First aid kit, water, mobile phone, map. Good. Etc. Also, you must be aware that there are a lot of insects, for example, wasps, bees, spiders, etc. and reptiles, lizards, snakes, etc. Most of which are poisonous and dangerous.
Okay, should we turn back?
Visitors must be aware that moving along the path towards the canyon or the waterfall is, to a great extent, demanding, and under no circumstances should visitors with health problems follow it. Hiking is done with exclusive personal responsibility of each visitor.
Should we ask Crusoe whether it's okay to go that way?
He says we've got to give it a go.
All right, let's do it.
It's a pretty steep drop, isn't it? Look at it. Normal 6-month pregnant activity, right?
Very. Not for the first time on our trip in Greece that we find ourselves clambering over rocks and skidding down things on our bum with very sharp cliff edges hanging very close. Nearly there, I think. I think we've arrived. Oh yeah, I'm going for a swim in that.
Oh dear. I guess it means it's my turn. It's so cold. It's like catching your breath cold. Woo! Oh, amazing. What a place. If you are ever in the Peloponnese, make the effort to come to the Nether Falls. We have got the whole place to ourselves, which is becoming a running theme in Greece. And it is truly, it's just bliss. A corner of absolute natural perfection. Do it. I gotta go swim.
Look at that tummy.
How are we doing, love?
We've got 4 kilometers to go before we get to a gas station, and we've got about 4 kilometers left in the gas tank. Woohoo!
Yikes. This was cutting it fine. Poor Cotty, literally limping in here.
Just one thing left to do on this part of our Peloponnese adventure.
And that is to go and see the Corinth Canal, which is a canal that links the Aegean Sea to the Ionian Sea.
Very good. The canal itself does feel a little bit like a non-event. Basically, you walk onto a bridge, you're over the canal, there it is. So Tara and I have decided to come for a little bit of a walk, and there's this dirt track that goes along the side of the canal down to another bridge, and then we're going to go over that bridge and come back again, sort of make a bigger deal out of it. It's a lovely walk too.
The walk that we did along the canal is about 6 kilometers long and fairly easy going, with warning signs telling us not to go too close to the edge. As we walked further along the canal, birdsong started to replace traffic noises and lizards zipped across our path. It was a magical way to see the Corinth Canal.
At the bottom end of the Corinth Canal is a footbridge, a very quiet place. Go and have a good view of the canal itself. The other ends, it's all traffic bridges, quite noisy.
So, interesting fact about the Corinth Canal is that this route was first taken by boats in 600 BC. Obviously they hadn't built the big canal, but they put railway tracks across the stretch of land and rolled boats on wheels across it. 600 BC. A long time ago, that is.
One last little thank you to the Peloponnese from us is a small litter drive. If any of you have been to Greece, you will know that there is a tendency for heaps of rubbish everywhere. So before we head to the airport and fly to Santorini, we're just going to do a bit of a pickup. If we can make a dent on it, then that's at least a start. And it wouldn't be a 2020 litter mission without the dreaded single-use disposable mask. Plastic straws are really bad for the environment and one of the biggest sins of single-use plastic. Okay, that's our plastic rant over for the day. But we're going to make this a habit. Have a think about it. Maybe you'd like to too.
So that's the end of our Peloponnese adventure here at the Corinth Canal.
We have loved it. So if you come to Greece and you can do it overland to the Peloponnese, highly recommend it. If you've enjoyed our video, please do hit that subscribe button and join us, as our adventures are really only just beginning.
It looks like we're a growing community now, and that for us is extremely exciting. There's plenty more where this came from, and we'd love to have you along for the ride.
Leave us a comment too. We'd really love to hear from you.